Um, I wanted to talk about something else first. All right. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm launching sort of a more intensive, serious-minded, people-only coaching program for people that would like to make money in real estate. I don't know if you know anyone that that's serious about making money in real estate, have them call me, all right, if you know of anybody. Right, and one of the things that I wanted to just sort of put this in perspective this is a slide from a Keller Williams recruiting material, and in it, it talks about the evolution of the real estate business from traditional real estate companies. I spent a really long time at a traditional real estate company. It was called Century 21. And traditional real estate companies like Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Intero, Alain Pinel, Better Homes and Gardens are companies where we, back then, always believed it was about us, it was about the brand, and the agents were dependent on us. Right? Basically, the message you get from all of those companies is you need us, we don't really need you, and you're dependent, we'll give you leads, we'll help you do this, and we'll help you do that. It's a dependent model. Right? Financial gain is directed primarily to the brokers in the company. The independent, completely independent model is something like RE/MAX. RE/MAX originally was 100% commissions. Doesn't that sound great? If you sold a house for $800,000 with a 2.5% side, that generates $20,000 in gross commission. You got $20,000, right? Out of the $20,000 gross, you got $20,000. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Right? But you understand, if I had a shoe store and I sold shoes, since we were talking about shoes, for $100, which I know are cheap shoes for Hillary, if I sold shoes for $100 and I got paid $100 commission. Right, do you understand that? I sell shoes for $100, I get paid $100 commission. How do we keep our lights on at night? Right, do you understand there must be something going on in the back room? So what RE/MAX did is they provided no training, no support, no help. It was an executive suite rental business designed for real estate agents, right? That was the model. You pay desk fees, you pay they took all the expenses of the office every month, everything, the rent, utilities, the receptionist, the copy machine, the lease of the fax machine, everything, and divided it by the number of agents, and everyone got a bill, and then added onto that bill was the profit margin that they were looking for. That was that model, completely independent. Interdependent model means that you have a business and that the business is connected. Basically, our role at Keller Williams is to treat you like a business owner and our role is we're really a business consultant or a business advisor to a business owner, right? Does everybody, the way that looks, how many of you have ever heard of somebody by the name of Robert Kiyosaki? Anybody? Right, only one. He wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this is something which he calls the cash flow quadrant, or maybe it's not, but anyhow, it's a quadrant, that much is true. And there's a point to this, as it's going to relate to what we're going to talk about. Let's use the concept of having a coffee shop. Right? And this is one of the things that I like to talk to agents about. If you have a coffee shop, let's say you work at Starbucks, you're an employee, right? You have a job. If you own a coffee shop and you work in the coffee shop, then you own a job. Come on in.
You want to scoop?
Yeah, there's one up at the front. I know, no one wants to sit at the front. I do understand that. But do you understand, if you own the coffee shop and you make coffee, you're one level above an employee, but you're still tied to a job.
Yep.
Right? A business is when you have a system that works for you. So the question that Robert Kiyosaki asks is, if you were to go away for 6 months and come back, would it still be there? Right? Would it still exist? Would it be doing as well or perhaps even better than what it was doing when you were there? Do you understand? Some businesses improve when the owner is not there. Right? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? This, by the way, does anybody know, and since you've been reading The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I know I can call on you. Does anybody know what this is called in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent? That's right. It's called the seventh level in the organizational model, right? Where at Keller Williams, the goal is for you to own a business that you could walk away from, right? Do you understand? There are thousands of people at Keller Williams that own a real estate business, and yet they're not listing and selling real estate. You understand? If you're listing and selling real estate and you're an independent contractor, you sort of own a job, right? But would you stop listing and selling? And so the investor is when you become an investor in a coffee shop, right? You understand? You don't have a business and you don't have a job. And that's something we'll talk about later. What that means is that in order for you to create that business, you have to create two businesses. And one business is a prospecting and marketing company, and the other is a customer service business. You need to be able to draw a line and say, this is my prospecting and marketing business. And I'm going to be working on that. And by the way, if you're working 8 hours a day, how many of you work 8 hours a day? Full time? Right? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's a few honest people shaking their heads.
Does 24/7 count?
Right, 24/7. But let's say it's 8 hour a day, you should be spending 3 hours a day in your prospecting or marketing business. And maybe 5 hours a day in customer service. Do you understand? It's like if you have a fishing boat and you have a fish restaurant. If you don't ever go out in the boat to catch fish, there's nothing to serve in your restaurant, right? You understand? There's no reason to open the door if you've got no fish to sell. Right, and so how much time do you spend out on the fishing boat looking for fish versus how much time? Most real estate agents focus on the customer service part and they don't focus on the building the other business. And finally, for those of you that are wondering, well, what is prospecting and marketing? This is not an exclusive list, but this is a beginning. Does anybody know where this came from? That's right. It comes from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? Thank you. I appreciate it, Rob. Everybody get a copy? All right. So, what I want to talk to people about is you're going to be getting an email from me. You're going to be getting an email from me about implementing a more aggressive, if that's the right word, consistent business of prospecting and marketing, how to build a prospecting and marketing business. So would you let Ms.
Well,
Thank you.
let me just scoot over.